Okay.
He just was that kid.
I'm gonna record this real quick.
You have that one child, they have like this certain continent, something, they're supposed to do something. He just always wanted to do the opposite. He caught up in the process.
Okay, hold on, Ari. Okay, I'm gonna record. Hold on. Marvin. Marvin.
Huh?
I'm on. I'm online. Okay, let me go ahead. Okay, so really quick, I have, I know I told you guys I would share little snippets of what I'm doing. I don't know if you can see me. Let me move this. Yeah, I should be fine. Okay, I told you I would share little snippets of my trip to Egypt. And so today we were in Deuteronomy 29, and we had just gone through 28. And so something that we talk about a lot is this idea of going into Egypt with ships. And so most of the time we think this is something that shocked our ancestors. But when he writes this, he's reminding them of something that has happened before. So while I was in Israel, I took a trip over to Egypt and I went to the Egyptian Museum. And while a lot of stuff from Egypt and from the tombs and other things have been taken by the British and by obviously grave robbers, there are some things that may have been insignificant to them that they left behind. The reason why you don't see in Egypt a lot of things about Hebrew people right on the surface is because all of the stuff for slaves or servants were small, because these were things that were contained in the tombs of the pharaohs that told their story, and it's how they made their way back to the afterlife as it's told in the Egyptian religion. So all of these things would be obviously miniatures. So you see here, you have a ship. And the verse that we took that from was Deuteronomy 28:68, and it says, "And Yahuwah shall bring thee into Egypt again," which means it had to happen at some time before. And you get all these arguments that, oh, it was because it happened with this group during this time and this during this time. You have some people saying, we never went into Egypt before with ships because you could walk. Well, you've probably never seen the Nile. I have. You've probably never driven from Israel to Egypt through the Sinai Peninsula and seen how large the waters are. I got the opportunity to do that as well. So you can actually, it probably would have been pretty fast if you didn't have cars like we do now. You can actually take ships or boats from Egypt, from Israel, or from that region to Egypt. Okay? So it says, "And Yahuwah will bring you into Egypt, back into Egypt in ships, by the way which I spoke to you." So he said, back into Egypt again with ships, "By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you." Now the difference was in the captivity of our ancestors being taken from the coast of Africa and taken into captivity to the four corners of the earth. It was different because these ships were a it was a double dose. Here, as you can see, this is at the Egyptian. Hey, Ari, baby. Ari. At these ships here, of course, you see they're not like slave ships, right? So this was easy compared to being stacked like cattle and taken over. But cognitively, if you hear Yah calling our ancestors to remembrance, he would call them to remember the stories and the things they had heard of. So seeing something like this would immediately snatch their memory, and they've been told stories of Egypt and being taken captive and being brought in ships, and it didn't have to happen just during that time. Remember, there were lots of encounters between the Hebrew people and the Egyptian people throughout our history. Leaving Egypt that time, and the northern tribes linked up. Solomon married an Egyptian woman, and so a servant, right, being taken or saying, okay, bring him over is one thing. Okay, so you see here, ship, cage, people inside the cage. Okay, next one. Here's another one, not so much caged in, but these are ships. I think these are fishing ships in this sense, but you see the workers, how they put a distinction. Just like they put a distinction between us and them, Yah then goes and puts a distinction between them and us. So you see them here again. I think they're fishing, and you see the workers who they balded, which is actually a shame for a Hebrew to be balded. Remember when it happened with David, and he shaved off half of their beards and sent them back, and David was like, hey, going out somewhere until your hair grow back. Y'all look strange. Here you have it again. You can see these ships, and they have this cargo style thing. They have sails. So this thing of ships was not foreign to our people. That's another image. I'll share that with you at another time. But you see this idea of people being taken and transported in these vessels as something that our ancestors had seen. Whether it was mass slavery or not was not it. It was an image that they were very familiar with in that region for transporting people to different places. So I thought I'd share that with you. I thought I'd share the fact that all of these people on all of these boats are brown. So gods of Egypt and all these other things, I guess they didn't make it to the Egyptian museum when they thought about casting people and casting them correctly, because we can see obviously the people were brown people. And you got dark brown, and I don't see too much light brown. This guy back here is brown. Okay, so you can see the people in the ships. I just wanted to share that with you, give you one little snippet of something that I saw while I was in Egypt. And shalom, shalom.
Good point.
That's why I love Hebrew.